Hi, I'm Daniel with Eat Move Groove, and today I have a simple 11-minute yoga sequence focusing on the hips. When we think of carrying tension in the body, we often think of the neck and the upper back, but another place that many people often overlook are the hips. The hips are a complicated area of the body with lots of muscles, tendons, and ligaments crisscrossing front to back, side to side, and so there are lots of nooks and crannies here where we can experience tightness or fatigue or where stagnant energy can build up. All you need for this sequence is enough room to roll out a yoga mat. So do that, grab a sip of water, and then we'll get started. All right, so for this sequence, we're going to start on all fours. So come on down to the mat, and then we will place our wrists directly underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips, finding a nice flat back position. Go ahead and take your right knee and bring it in close to the midline of your mat, and then bring your hands just a little bit farther apart so that we can free up our left knee to come up, back, and down and around. And we're going to do some hydrants here, or some knee circles. Now, if your hips are tight, you might feel this right away, especially at the top there, so take your time, slow and controlled. Take a few circles in one direction, and then go ahead and reverse and take it the opposite way. Nice. Soften the elbows so that our chest stays parallel with the ground. And once we take a few more circles in the other direction on that side, you can shake that leg out, and we'll go ahead and switch. So go ahead and bring that left knee in toward the midline of your mat. Free up your right knee to come up, back, down, and around. And go ahead and make those large circles with the knee on the opposite side. While you're here, remember to breathe. So keep those lungs open. And you can engage your core here, bringing that belly button in and up toward the spine. Good. One more circle in this direction, and then we can flip it around in the opposite direction. We'll take a few more on this side. Just loosening up here before we get into our poses. Go ahead and give it one more circle. And take that right knee back down to the mat. And now we're going to go back into extended child's pose. So go ahead and take those knees as wide as your mat. Big toes in to touch. Go ahead and sink those hips back, and then we'll reach the hands forward, lowering the chest and then perhaps the forehead down to the earth. Take some nice deep breaths here. Let your hips release and relax down toward the ground. Good. One more deep breath in this position. And then we'll exhale to come up, press back, and then we're going to swing the legs around and we're going to come to a seat. Now, and we're going to take a cobbler's pose. Two variations of it. So this is a pose where it might be helpful or it might feel good to lift your hips. So if you have a yoga block, you can use it here. If you don't have a yoga block, that's totally fine. You can use, a few books, stack them up to the height that you want. You can use a pillow from your couch or your bed. All right. So there's options. I'm going to lift my hips because depending on what you have going on anatomy-wise in this area, this pose might be more or less intense. So we're going to go ahead and let the knees become heavy and drop down toward the ground. Bring the soles of the feet in to touch. So first we're going to bring the heels in close to the body. Right? And then sitting up nice and tall here. Okay, dropping the shoulders down the back body, lifting the chest. You can go ahead and find a grip on your legs, either around the thighs or your shins, or maybe down toward your ankles. Take a nice deep breath in to sit up nice and tall and extend through the crown of the head. And then on your exhale, we're going to hinge forward at the hips. Okay? So keeping that nice straight line from the crown of the head all the way down to the base of the pelvis. And then breathe. Good. Excellent. Take one more deep breath here in your cobbler's pose, and then let your exhale send you right back up. Now we're going to take the heels, instead of bringing them in close to the body, we're going to bring them a little bit farther away. So we're going to extend out, give ourselves a little bit more distance here. Again, take a nice deep breath in to sit up nice and tall, extend through the crown of the head. And then on your exhale, go ahead and hinge forward toward those feet. Imagine like there's a pool of water in front of you, you're looking down into your reflection. So you'll find the edge of your range of motion. You'll get down to about, here or wherever you're at, and you'll start feeling that stretch in your inner thigh muscles and toward the groin. So once you're there, stay there, and then just focus on your breath. Good. Keeping that belly button pulled in toward the spine here. And those shoulders pulled back down the back body. Take one more deep breath in, and then exhale to come back up. Nice. All right, if you have your yoga block underneath, you can take it out, set it aside, and we're going to just take a easy seat here on the mat, placing your soles of your feet down. And then take your hands down behind you on the mat so that you can lean back slightly. Try not to hunch your back and your shoulders. So keep your shoulders pulled back and down away from the ears. Lift your chest up, nice and proud. Go ahead and take your feet a little bit wider toward the edges of your mat. And then we'll just go ahead and let the knees fall to the left. Good. And then up, and then fall to the right. I need to shift a little bit so I can have a little bit more room. And we're just going to windshield wiper our knees side to side. Upper body is facing forward, chest is lifted. You might take your gaze slightly up by lifting the chin. Good. A few more times here, side to side. Nice. And we'll bring it back to center. Go ahead and push back up out of that easy seat. We're going to come down to our back now. So make your way there however you like. I'm going to extend my feet. This is my favorite way to come down to the back. Point the fingers and roll back one vertebrae at a time through the back. Engage the core. Coming down nice and slow. Oh, good. Alrighty, once you get here, go ahead and place the soles of the feet down to the ground again. We're going to take one leg and cross it over the opposite knee like we're sitting in a chair. If your hips are really tight, you might feel this right away, and so maybe this is your pose. We're doing a figure 4 stretch here, stretching through the outer glute muscles. So you can stay here and focus on taking that crossed knee and dropping it down toward the ground. And you should feel an opening through the back, through the glute, through the side of your thigh. Okay. If you want a little bit more, if you want to take it one level up, you can go ahead and take that bottom leg up off the ground, bringing your crossed shin in toward your chest. Here you could reach through and grab the lower leg shin and hug in close to your chest. Remember to breathe. Remember, find your appropriate edge where you can feel that stretch, and then stay there and breathe. Good. Take one more deep breath here. Nice long inhale. On your exhale, go ahead and drop those legs down, and then we're going to go ahead and just switch. So go ahead, cross the opposite leg over the bottom knee. You might stay here and just focus on dropping that top knee down toward the ground to open up through the front of the hip flexors here. And then we can progress here by bringing that bottom foot up off the ground, reaching through to pull. You can grab behind your thigh or on top of the shin. Depends on your range of motion. Find your stretch and breathe. Good. One more deep breath in, and exhale to go ahead and let that release. All right. To finish this sequence off, we're going to take a reclined cobbler's pose. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together just like we did at the beginning, and then let the knees drop down toward the ground. So again, if you're already really tight in the hips, this might be a very intense stretch for you. So my favorite way to actually do this stretch is with blocks or whatever you have on hand to bring the ground up to you. I like to place the blocks underneath the knees so that my hips can open, my knees can drop, but they don't have to come down so far that it feels just way too intense. And you have to sort of experiment here and find the best position to place your blocks. But once you find it, go ahead and let those knees relax. Drop your weight down into your blocks, into the ground. You might take your shoulders in underneath your body and place your hands down to the ground, palms face up. And now we find ourselves in our reclined cobbler's pose. Sort of a nice variation of Shavasana. Good, and breathe. If you like, take a few more minutes here to let the hips just sort of open and release and relax in this position. Nice job. When you're ready, of course, we can bring the knees back in, shift our blocks off to the side. Once we're done, turn onto our sides and press up back to our easy seat. Whew. And there you have it. Nice job in this sequence. Go ahead and grab another sip of water, find a healthy snack. Thank you for practicing with me. I'll see you again soon.